Do you feel a connection to me? What about now? Okay, how about this? What about now? What, am I not cavalier enough for you? I show too much concern, I'm not full of disdain, I'm not carefree. You know the word cavalier originally meant horseman, right? Whatever, I'm not cavalier and I never will be. And I certainly can't compete with this guy.
He's one of those people that you feel that you have some sort of connection to when you look at him. Partly because of his rather enigmatic smile. He's smiling rather than laughing, even though he's called the Laughing Cavalier.
Yes, the Laughing Cavalier. He's captured in this portrait from 1624. And experts like this curator at London's National Gallery don't even know if the guy was Cavalier or not, because they don't even know who the guy is.
The Laughing Cavalier is a sort of 19th century nickname. The word cavalier doesn't actually mean anything in this context. He's just a very well and opulently dressed man. I would say probably a bachelor on account of his very elaborate dress, because married men would wear something more modest than that. But we don't know who he is, which is rather marvelous in a way, that this famous picture is that we don't know who the sitter is.
Well, whoever he was, he certainly looked cavalier, and that's one of the reasons this painting is so beloved. Art experts say that little smile with an attitude was very hard to pull off by painters at the time, and the art world was stunned by this look. An art instructor and writer known as Nicholas Jeeves observed that back in 17th century England, the only people who smiled all the time were types that were poor, rude, or drunk. Here, put up the split screen, come on, I'm cavalier. Hey, give me your money. I want to buy a mimosa. What is it? Is it elbow? I'm not getting the elbow right?
It's also a famous example of this, what we like to call the Renaissance elbow, where you put your sort of an invention already, 16th century Italian painters did it already. It's become known as the Renaissance elbow. But it is a very effective thing. It's both elegant and powerful, and it creates depth, of course. So the stance makes, and you slightly look from below as well, which means that he sort of slightly towers over you.
This Laughing Cavalier painting is the most famous work of a Dutch painter named Frans Hals. And according to this art critic here, he was an expert at capturing people's expressions in sort of a realistic, casual way.
Frans Hals was a portrait painter extraordinaire, and what he specialized in was capturing those little moments, sort of a little side glance or a little smile coming across their face when they're having a convivial moment.
Frans Hals is the artist who really knows how to create what we today would call a snapshot, even though, of course, that concept would not have been known to Frans Hals.
Well, we know what snapshots are. Videos too, which is how we were able to get these cameras in there. And there's good reason too. It's the first time since the 1870s that the Laughing Cavalier has left its home at a different museum elsewhere in London. It was originally a private collection that belonged to old British aristocrats, which was eventually bequeathed to the British nation under the condition that they never lend anything out. And nothing had been since 1900, until the board that oversees the collection decided to start lending them out in 2019. Which makes sense. Does this look like the guy who respects the wishes of some 100-year-old British aristocrat? Actually, yeah. Anyway, the Laughing Cavalier is on display as part of an entire exhibition of Hall's work at the National Gallery, and it's only going to be on display through January. And if you happen to be in Britain, you can check this out too. What do you think? Am I Rubenesque? Drew, put up the split screen. Do I come across as an elegant brushstroke of a nude, full-figured woman? Come on, I don't look like a carefree horseman or a voluptuous 17th century nude? Okay, that actually makes sense because this one's not actually naked. But what about these ones, huh? Can we show these? I think we can, it's art.
Our intention with this exhibition was really to expand on the idea of the Rubens woman and to think there is so much more than just one type of Rubens women. The word Rubenesque gets kind of thrown around in the English language, meaning a very particular type of thing. But what we wanted to do with this exhibition was really explore Rubens and explore how much he didn't just paint pictures of women, but he painted pictures for women.
Yes, that's the curator of Rubens and Women, from another one of those old Dutch masters. No, not the delicious cigar, Peter Paul Rubens. No, not the candy bar maker, Pee Wee Herman, or the sandwich, Peter Paul Rubens. He's the 17th century artist known for bold mythological paintings of full female nudes. And at this exhibit running at a gallery in South London, the curator says they're trying to demystify the "do we need to pixelate this" subject matter of the artist's work.
So he had female patrons who were very, very important in the formation of his career. He also painted many of his family members, and many of his pictures show that great love that he had for his 2 wives and his children. So there's a real tenderness to Rubens's pictures of women.
Here's that same art critic from earlier who appears to have taken off his jacket on how Rubens' work is being presented in a different light.
So you've got the big paintings in this room, but in the other rooms you have sort of pictures of his wife, his daughter, the more smaller sketches, so we all get to see a different side of Rubens that we're not used to.
This exhibit runs through January as well. And hey, look, if you're going to be in Europe this winter to check out old paintings that you've already just seen in this video, why not hop in the Channel and ride down to Paris? A special Van Gogh exhibit is running at the Musée d'Orsay through February, focused on the final works of his life. During Van Gogh's most prolific and tumultuous period, during which he cut off his ear, he followed his doctor's advice and went into creative overdrive, sometimes painting more than 1 artwork a day. Here's the collection's curator.
There was an urgency those last 2 months to say what he had to say, what he felt he had to say, he had to produce, say, through his painting, of course.
The collection includes tree roots, believed to be Van Gogh's last painting, dated July 27th, 1890, the same day he walked into a wheat field and shot himself in the chest. Yeah, I think I'm done with this bit.